Hello, folks. Welcome. Time here in Liberia is 11 minutes down 3 p.m. Today is Wednesday, the 21 day of June 2023. This is how we love to welcome you to the pilot. This is a pilot. We are definitely going to bring you the full scale, large version, full version of this particular show. Love to welcome you to the pilot edition of Reliable Info 360 that will be hosted by Honorable Eugene Lamin Fagon across the Spoon Network. This show is going to be live on Spoon 107.5 FM, Fabric 101.1, and Super 95.5. Also live on Spoon TV and on our YouTube channel as well. So let me now cut over to Mr. Eugene Lamin Fagon, Honorable former Deputy Minister of Press and Public Affairs at the Ministry of Information, Cultural Affairs, and Tourism. Good morning or good afternoon to you.
Good morning, Diamond.
Good morning.
Good afternoon to the peace-loving people of the Republic of Liberia. Can you hear me well?
Yes, you loud and clear. Crystal
Thank
clear
you.
for that matter.
Thank you very much. You have now officially become the co-host of this program and the anchorman based in Liberia. I hope the girls will not be chasing you because over the next couple of months, there'll be serious job to do and you will become a star and a celebrity overnight. Because working with you, because you will become an overnight sensation based on what you do. Don't forget now, this is not my first time working with you. In 2017, I worked with you. So I know your ability, capability, and political agility. We now start. So I know you very well, and I know your ability to produce. The Liberian people in the hundreds of thousands are about to experience what they experienced in 2017, above and beyond, and we will go to the extra length to give them actual and reliable information. And you can see the name is Reliable Info 360. We're not going 180, we're going 360. That means we're going totally all around the world and the country. And Diamond, it's a pleasure working with you. I worked with you in 2017. I know your ability and I know what we can do. I know it's going to be an issue getting all of our equipments, but we're trying over the next couple of days. We'll get everything lined up. And Monday when we pick up, for example, before I go back to you, a lot of things happened today. You and I will only be able to talk about it. Whereas in 2017, by production, you and Robert Haynes will go, you will cut the clip, the people will see it with their eyes, they will hear it with their ears, and then we will come in to dissect. We will line it up, we'll lay it out. But we've been having some problems. But I know we're going to solve the problem, and I know that you will do your best. So officially, allow me to refer to you most often as my co-host and anchorman based in Monrovia, Liberia. And I will be presenting from the United States as your host. With that said, Diamond, let's create a teaser for the Liberian people as to what to expect. And before we go to Diamond, let me let you know, Diamond has been up since this morning, and you've seen him reporting on the Gloria Scott case, which is a heavy load, and he ran back into studio. So we will do an hour for you here, and we will present to you for an hour, make a case, just to give you a teaser. We'll be back again when the time permits. But we're starting today, and maybe tomorrow, we might give you an hour, 20 minutes, until we can get all of our things in line. But when we start on Monday, we'll go full 2 hours. But Damo, before I go back to you, you play a series of advertisement. They give you $10 for it.
I want to, before the show began,
Damo,
you were hearing it in the background because you were already in studio.
Yeah,
so
never
all of
mind,
the audio
never mind. There will be more sponsors coming for you, Diamond. There will be more sponsors.
I got one deal, sir. One correct deal.
The people will come to sponsor this show. They know what we can do. The stores, the big businesses, the banks, They will all be rolling in because they know hundreds of thousands of people know our ability and know what we can produce. And I have no doubt in my mind we are about to seize the airwaves. Bring us up to speed, Dama, on what happened in the nation's capital, Monrovia, today.
Yeah, so all of the before I start, I love to say thank you for my preferment as well. I look forward to working along with you again. As you said, we did it in 2017. We did work together. There are a lot of other capable young media practitioners all across Liberia, not just limited to the Spoon Network. So being on this show is a privilege for me as well, though it has increased my workload. But we'll do our best when duty calls. You have to avail yourself. So again, thank you to the management as well. So today, the Temple of Justice, to be precise, Criminal Court C at the Temple of Justice was the scene of everything happening in the country. So it began on yesterday, where the former Chief Justice, Councillor Gloria Scott, and three others were taken in by their lawyers after they had sent in a formal communication that they would have made their clients available on that day, which was yesterday, the 20th of June, 2023. So they arrived around 10 a.m. thereabout, 10ish thereabout, and when they entered, they never exited the building until today around 12 midday. So we got reliable information from sources within that they had been charged with 3 counts. Count number 1, murder in the first degree, which is a felony in Liberia, criminal conspiracy, and then making false statements to law enforcement. So then around 5 p.m. thereabout, we got a petition that was filed to the Criminal Code C for habeas corpus, that the living bodies of Councillor Scott and 3 others be produced. According to the 7-count document, they were held without charges. They were just given verbal charges and they needed to be released. So today, our attention was at MICAT, but I was stationed at the Temple of Justice just in case anything happened. And indeed, something happened. At around 12 midday, the former Chief Justice and the other 3 co-petitioners were escorted out on a very, very heavy police guard. You know, they were put in the middle of a police barrier, a wall, a protective wall. In fact, today at Central, there were 3 lines of defenses by the police. You know, we had the new recruits, those wearing green and green. They were the first line with the shields. Then we had the ERU and the PSU also forming 2 other lines of defense, and they were protected. And they entered Criminal Code C. The presiding judge, His Honor Vincent Willie, Judge Willie, yeah, then presided over the case, and he gave each of the counsels, each of the sides, 20 minutes to argue. The petitioners were first. Let me give you the list of lawyers who were on the petitioners team, and I'll run you through because we took down the notes. So the list of lawyers, the representations, the petitioners were represented by 1 Councillor Richard J. Snot Jr., Councillor Augustine Faya, Councillor Jonathan Masakwe, Councillor Murphy Kane, Councillor Francis Johnson Morris Allison, Councillor T. Warner, Councillor Milton Taylor, Councillor Alosha Stowe of the CPP, Councillor Taylor Kelly, Councillor Dixon, okay, Councillor Dixon N. Dixon R. Tamba, and they also had others to be joined. So we're also hearing that Kabina Janen, the former Associate Justice, is going to form part of that legal team as well. So the state was represented by all lawyers within the state, and those who were present were, that is, all prosecution lawyers, all state lawyers, all lawyers under the Republic of Liberia, and those who were present were Councillor Sumose Akwe, Councillor Aloysius Aldison, Councillor Lafayette Good Sr., Councillor J. Adolphus Kanua II, Councillor Bobby Livingstone, Councillor Aaron Pakewo, Councillor Yantin Toa, the Solicitor General of the Republic of Liberia, Councillor E. Boa Harris. So the judge, as I said, gave each side 20 minutes to argue and close. And the petitioners argued, they cited Article 21F of the Constitution of the Republic of Liberia that states the right to a writ of habeas corpus. They also stated a case, a Supreme Court opinion, Jala versus the Republic, as their references, and they invoked the right to be issued the writ of habeas corpus. So they stated, their lead counsel stated that since February 23 of this year, one day after the incident, Madam Mususkat, Councillor Mususkat, has been availing herself to investigators and investigation, and that amounted to detention as well. The fact that she was questioned for hours and all of that, and it has been happening up to June 20th, which was yesterday when they were called. So they talked about constructive detention, that she was going on constructive detention, and they said the state lacked prima facie. The state didn't have prima facie, and the state didn't have any evidence. He referred to the state as the mighty and the powerful state. With all of the resources available to the state, they are unable to come up with anything concrete against Councillor Mususkat and the three others. In fact, he said she has been humiliated. What the state has been doing has humiliated her, especially for the positions she served this country in, notwithstanding, and she had been tortured as well. He stated that yesterday her slippers were removed. She was placed in the male cell with inmates, and in fact, three other police officers, female officers, were placed in the cell to intimidate her. Those were accounts that were rebutted by the state. The state said those are sentimental statements. It didn't happen, and they should stick to what counts were in the petition. So they prayed the court that she be set free, and detention is not investigation. That was what the lead petitioner counsel said, that detention is not investigation. And the judge kept asking the state, when are they going to release the body of Chalo Musu? And the state said they reserved all right to answer or not to answer, and that matter wasn't before the court. And the judge said he had a right to ask because it's also part of the case. So the state said they reserved all rights to answer. So the petitioners pray that the judge grants the right of habeas corpus, that this amounts to miscarriage of justice, and that the state was only acting on speculations. So for its 20 minutes, the state also referenced Article 21F of the Constitution and said that though the petitioners said they had within 48 hours and they had abused it, they had not elapsed the 48 hours. In fact, the petitioners were only arrested yesterday. They were charged and arrested yesterday, and they said that the rate was premature and it should be collapsed. The state also argued that the petitioners were never arrested on February or detained on February 23rd. Rather, it was yesterday, June 20th, and they said that their 48 hours are not elapsed, right? They also said that they challenged that there was no constructive detention. They challenged that and said the petitioners were only acting on sentiments. They prayed that the court denied and squashed the petition until the 48 hours had elapsed. So the state also informed us that investigation is not an event, it's not a process, it's an event. And the judge, are you going to investigate this matter to Judgment Day? And the state said, investigation is not an event, it's a process, and the process is going to happen. So those were the things that happened. The state said the petitioners had no evidence to that effect, but again, the judge granted Madam Musu Scott and the three others the right of habeas corpus, and they were escorted out of the court under heavy security presence. She was put on board a black SUV, and away they went, to wild jubilations from her supporters and sympathizers as well. So that was what happened today on the grounds of the Temple of Justice. After that, there was a very lengthy argument. So as if the lawyers from both sides were not content with what happened in the court, as if the 20 minutes were not enough, they argued out of the court for more than 30 minutes. Councillor Lafayette Good Sr. said he couldn't take that. And in fact, they were going to drag Madam Musu Scott to court. Not because she served as Chief Justice means she's above the law. And a lot was said. And we'll have those clips, portion of those clips to share with our viewers and our listeners today as well.
Yeah, I'm hearing that Stanton A. Witherspoon wants to come on. Bro, I always, when you and I are on set, we create the euphoria and we create a balance of reportage for the Liberian people. we are ably assisted by Liberia's best. And that's a debate I'm willing to hold with anybody who is assisted by Liberia's best diamond slanger. We can't go wrong. This is where everyone wants to be. He is very eloquent and his presentation is great. But look, let's start first with the caliber of lawyers. This is like Liberia going against Brazil in the World Cup. I'm not talking about the case, Diamond. Let's look at the caliber of lawyers. Francis Johnson Morris is the former Justice Minister and Chief Justice. Am I correct?
I'm not furnished with that information.
Okay, I'm telling you now who she is. Now, you got Nebali Wono. Jesus. You got Murphy Kane. Jesus. Look on your list. If you give me the names, I will tell you they are the creme de la creme of Liberian law. And there is
these are just a few. These are just few. We were told that she might have a legal team that might exhaust more than 60 to 70 lawyers. Lawyers are willing, top caliber lawyers are willing to do pro bono services for she and her co.
She will have the entire country on her side. Let's assume without admitting. The sound was low. Maybe we'll amplify it when you play it. But let's assume, for the sake of argument, without admitting that she did it. We're just assuming. From the way they handled this case, from the 22nd up to today, Damo, there is no way, even if she did it, she will walk. You know why? Complete from the beginning. You can see that the law says that you will be granted due process. You see the first messed up mistake they made? Now, how can you complete this case? When you say due process, are you able to convince the court that this woman was given due process as it is beginning now? Can you convince? First, you illegally detain her. Because why? She was granted the writ of habeas corpus. The court forced the government to produce the living body of this woman. We got evidences. The nation has been investigating since the 22nd. They went to her house. They invited her to the police station. They've been going back and forth. Secondly, you say in one clip last night, OKFM reported that this woman was not charged. We saw it on their page. They discussed it this morning. Then government goes to a press conference and say she was being charged. Then government again said, we did not arrest this woman. No, you arrested this woman by virtue of the fact that we have the tape from the press conference where you said you read to her her Miranda rights. Amen. Education is our problem. You will not read to someone their Miranda rights unless you have arrested this person. And for the inspector to say today at the press conference that they arrested this woman, in his own words, she is in our custody. We read to her her Miranda rights. It is clear that she was arrested because the government said so. And then the government went further to deny that she was ever detained. It is silly. The only way you can detain someone is unless you arrest them. And by your own admission, you did. And a person is detained if they are denied of their liberties. And once you had her in your custody from 10 a.m. yesterday until this morning, she was therefore detained. Amen. Must we act like we're not educated? Police saying one thing, government lawyers saying another. Here we are, a detention is the action of detaining someone or the state of being detained in official custody, especially as a prisoner. What else do you want to know? You have been investigating since the 22nd of February. So, February, March, April, May, June, 5 months. You already charged the carpenter or the contractors. You charged him and you charged his sons with murder. We got the charge sheet. And then what happened? After you charged them, you had to let them go. Now, this woman goes in yesterday at your invitation. You arrest her. You go to court this morning. You did not establish prima facie. It is right here. Every person arrested or detained. Yeah. Article 21F. Every person arrested or detained shall be formally charged and presented before court of competent jurisdiction within 48 hours. What is that? You say, oh, the 48 hours did not elapse. You arrested her. So according to you, the investigation is continuing. But then, if you arrested her, it should have been probable cause, or you should have established prima facie. So since you arrested her, you detained her, the court asks you, what's the prima facie? You don't have it. What's the probable cause? You don't have it. Article 21F continues. This is not Fagon's opinion. This is fact. Therefore, Article 21F says, should the court determine the existence of a prima facie case against the accused, in this case, Gloria Scott, it shall issue a formal writ of arrest. Hear me and hear me well. Article 21F. And that's why people will tune, because they don't want tabata. They don't want opinions. What they want are facts. And you must reference them to what you are talking about. Article 21F. Let it be known to all Liberians that the court established that this woman was arrested and this woman was detained. Those are two facts that the government cannot lie about, because the government said it with their own mouths. So then it was left for the court to determine whether the 48 hours was justified. And to do that, the court had to make a determination of a prima facie. And if the court had established a prima facie, then the court would have issued a writ of arrest. Therefore, they went to the court. And Article 21F, second sentence, is very clear. I read thus for your consumption. Quote, should the court determine the existence of a prima facie case against the accused, it shall issue a formal writ of arrest, setting out the charge or charges, and shall provide for a speedy trial. Which means the fact that she was set free, the court did not determine a prima facie. The fact that she was not issued a writ, or should I say, the court did not issue a writ of arrest setting out the charges, it simply means the court herself could not only determine a prima facie, but did not see the reason for charges. Thus, the government was defeated. Like the drug case, this government continues to demonstrate ineptitude, and the judicial system is correcting some of our ignorance when it comes to being the enforcers of the law. The judiciary is responsible for the interpretation of our laws. The executive is responsible to enforce the law. The legislature is the one that makes the law. The executive is headed by an arrowhead that is weak. The law enforcement agencies or apparatus of government is demonstrating ineptitude, lack of professionalism, and they lack legal judgment. It is within this purview. I'm not giving you my opinion. I am giving you facts. Diamond, are you there with any one of the clips so that we can entertain our people before we go to the lines? Liberians.
Okay, so we take the clip from the MICAT emergency press briefing I was done today. And
Thank
we
you,
check
Diamond.
the portion from Unit 106 making his case.
Along with 3 others have been arrested since yesterday. As of yesterday, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And because of the gravity of this issue, same thing, murder case, you will understand that they will no longer be at their private home while investigation is going on. They are being investigated on 3 charges. You want to know that. These people are being investigated on 3 charges, ranging from murder, criminal conspiracy, and false report to law enforcement officials. Those are the 3 charges they are being investigated on. And as we speak, for your knowing, we have habeas corpus on us.
Last one. You want the second one
No,
from
wait.
Councillor.
Diamond, you listen to your uncle. You listen to your uncle. Listen to your uncle. Those people have been arrested. Those people are being investigated on 3 charges of murder, criminal conspiracy, and providing false information. Your uncle Muff Turkey. They have been arrested. They are in our custody. Listen to your uncle. Then you go to court. Article 21F. Yeah, right here. The court try to help you to determine a prima facie. Nothing. On what basis? Where are your evidences? How can we get these people and then put the charges on them now? That's our job. You could not provide anything. As of February 22nd, if you watch the Mika press conference and saying this, we will appeal to people in the coming days. This program is yours. If you want the best, you will have to contribute so that we can give you the best services. These guys went and put a 3D dimension up. And all they kept saying, there is no evidence of someone entering the house. But yet, in their expose, they said the other 3 persons exited through the window. So, I put it to you, Diamond. If there is no evidence of someone entering the house, that is a break-in. Why is there an evidence of someone leaving through the window? If the window was not open, who opened it? Who broke it?
So the question is, why would legal occupants of the residence want to leave through the window when they have the keys to the door that they can open the door at any time and they leave? Unless you tell us that they were trying to stage, an escape through the window. So
Exactly.
the police will have to tell us from their investigation, because if somebody even entered the house without breaking in, like sneaking in,
right?
Are they telling us as well that the person used then the window to go out because the door was locked or there was some blockade at the door that they couldn't get out? So who are those 3 persons that used the window to go out, and why did they opt to use the window rather than the door that they could have easily opened?
That is what I'm confused about. And that is why
So
in
we
the
have a
United
copy of
States,
Article 21F. I've gotten a PDF copy, so we can show it to our people if you
please
you are
do. This
ready.
is the best show in the nation. We just don't talk.
So this is Article 21F of the Constitution, Republic of Liberia. We've zoomed it for you as well. So this is Article 21F. Let me put it on the screen. So if our people can see it, that is Article 21F of the Constitution that says every person
Can you raise it up a
arrested
little?
or
Because we're
yeah, I'm
seeing
raising
E.
it up. So this is
Yeah,
F.
there it is.
F. Let me zoom it a bit and then bring it so they can see it clearly. So this is Article 21F.
No, move it to the left. There you go.
Yeah,
You're
it's
set.
nice. Yeah. So every person arrested or detained shall be formally charged and presented before a court of competent jurisdiction within 48 hours. Should the court determine the existence of a prima facie case against the accused, it shall issue a formal writ of arrest, setting out the charge or charges, and shall provide for a speedy trial. There shall be no preventive detention. That was one of the arguments of the petitioners' counsels, that preventive detention and constructive detention was what was happening to them since the 23rd of February.
And
So
do
the
you
E
think they
is
were
there.
wrong, as Liberians are seeing? They were not wrong. Since February, we're talking about almost 6 months here. You keep booing people back and forth. And then, let me tell you something, Diamond. You know what moved me today is the fact that lawyers came out of the courtroom, stood in the courtyard, and for the most part, started an argument outside disgracefully. And especially my good friend and brother, Lafayette. You lost a case in everywhere in the world, Diamond. You come outside, you stand before the press. Ladies and gentlemen of the press, I'm Black Councilor Lafayette. I'm the lead lawyer for the government. And we went to court on the basis of habeas corpus. The court made a determination. We respect the determination of the court, but we will go back to the drawing board and we'll look at some of the issues and we will be back. Any questions? That's how you do it. You stay outside, you start fighting. Talking something that you're not supposed to talk. You and I had a discussion this morning. Clearly, you can see there is no collaboration and cooperation, Diamond, between. You gotta stay with me, or Diamond, don't run away.
Oh, running away. I'm doing research. I'm trying to get more
fine.
documents as well.
There you go. That's why I love you. Hey, there is no cooperation between the police and the legal team. Police, on the one hand, is saying something, and the lead lawyers, on the other hand, saying another. We arrested. You got Lafayette in the courtyard saying there was an investigation. We have no charges. There's no detention. You keep somebody's mother at your police station. Overnight, they sleep there. They're tortured. And people think that torture is only when you slap somebody or beat them with a stake. I'm here to tell you that there are various forms of torture. Let the record reflect. You got mental torture. You don't have to knock me. You just got to nag me, tell me all kind of things, abuse me verbally. You just torture me. And this woman was subjected to torture. This woman was humiliated. This woman is the former Chief Justice. And I submit to you this morning, Donald Trump, you are only charging this woman with 3 counts. Those of you in the United States who sometimes argue fearlessly without knowing where you live, this is for you. It's not for the Liberian people. Donald Trump has 37 counts, 37 charges on his head. They never put a handcuff on him. They never humiliated him. They did not even allow him to do a mugshot. They drove him in a convoy with the understanding that he's presumed innocent until proven guilty. But they respected him as a statesman. Based on that, him being the former president, and the law says he's presumed innocent, they treated him with dignity. You look at the head of a former branch of government and you torture her, humiliated her, remove her slippers from her feet. Then you got the audacity to tell us that she's presumed innocent until proven guilty. Ledger Hureni, it was your comment today. And you said we need to respect that. If she is innocent, why did you remove her slipper? If she is presumed innocent, why did you remove her slippers and throw her in a cell, forgetting that she's the former head of a branch of government? Do you see the backlash? The backlash is coming from the judiciary. And you know who will handle this case? The damn judiciary. And they will be proving one thing to you. What they will be proving to you is not what they told me to tell you. But as an educated man, they will be proving to you again that a person is presumed innocent until proven guilty. You treated her as a common criminal. You removed her slippers. You threw her in a cell. You humiliated her. You tortured her. Where is due process? Will you answer now to due process? You detain her without charges. You arrested her without prima facie. Amen. Education will be restored in 2024. I am confident. Let's assume she even committed the crime without admitting that she did. This assumption, if argued that she did, is she not presumed innocent until proven guilty? Is she not the former head of the judiciary? Is that how you treat someone that is presumed innocent? Remove their slippers, throw them in jail, humiliate them, torture them? Look at how people treated Donald Trump with respect on the judicial doctrine that he's presumed innocent until proven guilty. But in Liberia, in order to protect Jefferson Koji, Valley Tellers, and others' integrity, you rush without cooperation. And you're more focused on things that doesn't make sense. Damo, do you have other clips? So that we can
we have the clip from outside the criminal court C in the compound of the Temple of Justice. Councillor Lafayette Good Sr. spoke to the media after their lengthy argument.
Let's do it.
Speak to the...
What next are you going to do? What next are you going to do? Oh, we're going to go through our investigation. And then let's action. Somebody said the open house. But how did they prove it? We asked them. I told you, if I define consulted detention, I defined it for them. That when you say the person is under consulted detention, it means that the person is first a suspect. Secondly, they were released on the lawyer. Third, you had a... Was I in the petition? No. Was I in the petition?
No. When you say you got an issue, you read it. Your Honor, there's an issue I got. You can't argue the issue that you raised. Don't leave the issue and go outside. Oh, you know it. No, then I'll yes, say go on. No.
So, no. She has been charged for murder.
She hasn't been charged. No, they haven't been charged yet. She's been investigated. Investigated?
The police have...
Wait, no. There's no police report. I challenge anybody to...
So what was said at MICAT is a total contradiction to what you're saying?
No. They have been investigated for murder, criminal conspiracy, and false report to law enforcement official. Investigation being investigated and being charged. Two different things. Two different things. If it was an ordinary person today, they will not go.
Suspect Gloria Scott, along with 3 others, have been arrested since yesterday. I said yesterday, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And because of the gravity of this issue, same thing, murder case, you will understand that they will no longer be at their private home while investigation is going on. They are being investigated on 3 charges. You want to know that. These people are being investigated on 3 charges, ranging from murder, criminal conspiracy, and false report to law enforcement officials. Those are the 3 charges they are being investigated on. And as we speak, for your knowing, we have habeas corpus on us.
Well, Diamond, you heard it. The other man said there is no charges. The other man said they're being investigated on 3 charges. Before I bring in the former CEO, Media Mongo, and a person who developed interest in this case, the Honorable CEO Stanton A. Witherspoon, who I have invited to join me in this conversation. Before we wrap up, I know, Diamond, you got to go for lunch. We're going to close here shortly, but I want to bring in Stanton A. Witherspoon, who has been there from day one on this case, to have an understanding from him what he thinks so far, just to get a picture of what he's thinking. Here on one clip, Lafegu is saying this woman has not been charged. No, she's not charged. The other man said she's been investigated on 3 charges. And so I'm bringing in Stanton A. Witherspoon. Adjust your camera. This is not your spoon talk. This is the nation's premier platform with my co-host and anchorman, Diamond Slanger. As you can see.
So can we be funny over the title of which is the nation's premier?
If you do it, man, come and start. Hey, you know, now your part, you got to start. You got to close it before you start. But Stanton, it's good to see you on our debut program, Reliable Info 360. We launched it today, and the feedback we're getting is good. Sooner or later, we will invite the public to join us. But Stanton, you followed today the program. In the morning, they had the press conference. On the one side, the government is saying this woman has been arrested. She's in their custody. She's been detained, and she's been investigated on 3 charges. The lead lawyer that goes to court on the issue of habeas corpus said, no, there are no charges. There are no charges. But the court wanted to establish prima facie. And if the court had done so, they would have issued a writ of arrest with the charges. The court was not able to do so. The Liberian government was flogged bitterly in that courtroom, given a sore eye, and this lady was set free. Give us your thought on what you've seen, heard so far.
Thank you very much, Minister Fagon. Thanks a lot. And, again, I want to say appreciate and good luck to your program. Reliable Information 360, a beautiful name. I want to say, listen, man, Godspeed to you in this program. A lot of Liberians waking up to this program. I'm seeing that you already caught in attention to the discussion. It's early, not too early, but for me, it's 11:55 a.m. here, Eastern time. We will follow through with your program Monday through Friday, that to understand what is happening in our country, especially in the afternoon to May evening hours, because your program comes at 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Liberian time, where the folks that are at the job, going for lunch, and in the marketplaces, students leaving schools and everything of that nature, where you find a lot of folks in Boulevard Palace, Royal Hotel, and all the places just relaxing and eating and having conversation. That's where you come in. I'm seeing that you're going to be bringing a lot of senators, let's say lawmakers and ministers of all different backgrounds to this discussion. Let me come to this Gloria Scott issue. I read here yesterday, and one of our good friends sent us a text yesterday on the Spoon Talk. He said they have failed. This is exactly what he said, Fago, and I want you to listen because I read it yesterday. He said they have filed a writ of habeas corpus in court. And this guy is so smart. He said, which I think is a due to release her. I read this yesterday. They have filed a writ of habeas corpus in court, which I think is a due to release her. Perhaps the government have had a change of heart because it profit them nothing. And exactly what happened today. Exactly what he said, that's what happened today. So I like, oh my God, we have prophets. Legal prophets. But you understand that the government have nothing. Listen, I'm surprised the silence of Councilor Musa Dane. Musa Dane know very well he can't go close to this case. What I receiving from sources, Musa Dane told them to let go of this thing and they said no. What I'm receiving.
No, I'm understanding that he didn't just say let go, CEO. He said let go until you have proper evidence.
That's what I was going to.
Okay.
And he told us, say, you hold your peace because, listen, Fagon, one of the greatest failure of this government, you allow folks that brought in over 100 million worth of drugs in the country to walk free.
Yep.
And the woman dollar died. You say, well, the maintenance people, you capture all of them.
Yep.
They begin call us. They begin say, CEO, where Fagon? My father is not a murderer. He's just a maintenance working in the yard. The next day, what happened? They released them.
After charging them.
After charging them, we have the charge sheet.
Thank you.
You brought in Valitare. You look at his eye, whether he had pepper spray, you look at his finger here and there. You let Valitare go. Yeah. And you turn around to the woman. For what cost? Liberians need to understand the reason why Gloria Scott will kill her daughter.
That is $1 million question.
I hope, Fagon, before you end the show today, the people won't talk to you. The people want you to give them a chance to take questions. You are on Fabric.
No, talk.
You are on Super. You are on Spoon. The nation is listening to you because this afternoon program is so unique. Nobody's sleeping. Everybody up. Everybody there awake. But let me ask the Liberian people, whether you're sedition or not sedition, opposition or imposition, why would Gloria Scott kill her daughter?
That is the question. And the question begs, when you have government, police, senior police officers saying, and I want you to listen to this because I think you listen. Jirika, a good friend of mine, Emmanuel Jirika, he said there was no break-in. They used the key to open the door. The only thing we saw was that the three women, and it's on tape, left the house through the window. Well, the window has iron bars. So if there was no break-in, you are suggesting that even though they had a key to open the door and go outside, they choose to do a breakout?
Fagon, something about this government, right? And we give the government a chance. With all due respect, we give the government a chance. Let it do the tabata. But the government always in a misplaced position. No, Fagon. This it's not about causing you. It's not about you cause man, you cause power, you say the men do this. No. But this government, they are always in a misplaced position. And Liberians need to hear this very well. If only they can listen to the good advisors in the midst.
Right.
Why will you bring in Musa Dane and you fail to listen to, and you say, we're not listening to you. You say the man is your chief, he's the justice minister. But you said we're not going to listen to you.
Yeah.
And if you do these things, Fagon, if you do these things as a government, your reputation out there should speak for you. Your reputation out there should speak for you. But every single day, President, we are folks make the same dumb mistake over and over and over again.
But here is the thing. How can the police not cooperate and collaborate with the legal team? Why would the police be saying one thing here? Just as you saw Diamond show it. Diamond showed the police saying they arrested a woman, they're investigating her on 3 charges. That means they already charged her. But the legal guy...
They said murder, criminal conspiracy, false report. Listen, you already said murder, right? You already say it. So you have come to some conclusion within your investigation that you got to go prove that in court now. Okay? Then this morning we woke up, spoon going all over from Temple of Justice, from Mecca, everywhere. You're saying you're one thing and the judge releasing the woman. What was the system? Minister Fagon, this is your show. This is not sponsored. Don't let me tell you what your show. I beg you back.
No, you're here. We hear you for nothing because we've laid the groundwork. And the government lawyers were there. Listen, Diamond reported that there were 9 legal luminaries. One of them is one of the best in the country. Actually, she's a professor at the law school, and she just resigned because they passed 2 law students fictitiously. And she said, who passed them? They failed. And she said, look, you'll call them back and take the degree. They said, no. This woman is the former justice minister and former chief. That's Princess Johnson Morris Allison. Okay? Then you got Nigbali Warner. You got Murphy Kane. These are not children lawyers. These are adult. And Diamond reported that there are over 60 lawyers in the country that have swarmed the courtroom and said that they will represent this woman. Why is that so? I want to believe that they're not thinking that this woman did not commit murder. What they're watching before their eyes is a dumb performance, DUMB performance on the part of government lawyers that will put our judiciary in a state of mockery.
Fagon, can I ask you a question on your own program tonight?
Right.
It's election season. If you were advising this president, you Fagon, Mr. President, let's forget about Musadin now. Musadin, listen, I've been knowing Musadin for long. I went in Musadin's house up somewhere in Congo Town where they have that place, and he had some big dogs. I sat down. The papa is unique. He's good. Trust me. If he advises you, say you're not taking advice, he walk out with his hand clean. And that's what Musadin is doing. He threw his advice. He said, no. He said, my hand clean. I'm walking out. That's your business. But if you're advising the president, Fagon, you Fagon, what would be your advice to president we are today? The over $100 million drugs case, right? Your people flunk. Your people flunk. Bad to your reputation, the government reputation, very bad. Now we are seeing this thing about the former chief justice, former justice minister, former senator, former NEC boss. We are seeing this, that the woman is on the side of the opposition and you are going after her. Minister Eugene Lame Pakla Fagon, what would be your advice to this president today? Talk to the Liberian people and tell them exactly what will you be telling the president now.
When you can interview me on my own show.
My man, you brought me in. Well, I actually don't count on. You brought me in.
That's why the poor asking me say, hey man, you stay down so it'll be 280, it will be sweet. Because y'all two can bring some, y'all bring
But Fagon, what will you tell the president? You will go back and tell the president, say, listen, we are in election season. You don't want to make this mistake. What will you tell the president, George Manor, we are today, if you were to advise him, Fagon?
If I was to advise Mr. President, the first thing I would not advise him in the presence of Tue or Eugene Nangbe. I'll tell him, excuse me. I will carry him in a room. I say, listen, do you understand what you're doing? Or are you doing what you are doing because you're told to do it? Here is the difference. You've just lost $100 million drug case because of the poor performance of your lawyers. In most cases, their absence from the actual crux of the case. Here you are, February, March, April, May, June, 5 months. On February 23rd, you brought this woman in, carry her back to her house. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Today, she makes an appearance. You are the chief law enforcement officer. You can arrest her anytime. So you should have gotten statements from her or say something. Instead, she comes in at 10 a.m. in the morning. You arrest her. You detain her. You arrested her. You read her Miranda rights to her. It's on tape. I heard it from the investigator own mouth. That means you arrested her. Then they detained her. They had a 48 hours window. Forgetting to know that this investigation started on February 22nd at the commission of the crime. You have been investigating this woman. Your people failed to announce to the country that they had arrested this woman. Instead, they said the woman was only visiting. Then, when asked if the woman was detained, your people said no. But then in the evening, they refused to release this woman. They kept her until the next day. Here is what I got to tell you, Mr. President. You are the only person, according to our laws, that can disagree with you and argue with you in the entire republic by law is the Attorney General. And the Attorney General is greater than the Solicitor General. And if the people say they're not in the position to go to court, you must listen. To sit down and allow Jefferson Koji, Samuel Tue, Eugene Nangbe to let you go to court and lose, it's a shame. Which do you prefer? Go to court and win or go to court and lose? I want an answer from you. If you must go to court and win, you must follow the legal pathway. If you don't, you will go to court and lose. That would be my advice to him. And now, there is something called due process in law. If you don't follow due process, the person walks scot-free. Today is the beginning of the failure of the government, because it is now established in this case that due process was not followed. It is now established as a fact that this woman was humiliated, this woman was tortured, and this woman was forced under duress illegally. She was held in detention illegally. She was arrested illegally. By the ruling of the court, these simple facts have been established. So, okay, so Diamond, are you there?
So, Fagon, can you hear me? That I beg you, it's important for us to go ahead and have this conversation in its full context. Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm. I can hear you very well.
Correct. So now the government.
Just before you go on, I just made contact with Jerome Verdier. His name was mentioned. He is willing to come in by phone, via phone. So let's go ahead. And then
do you want me to call him?
Please do. Please do.
All right.
And I will just continue until you say you have him on. His name was mentioned today.
How so? Tell us what to say about him.
The commissioner said, the deputy commissioner of police said, when they contacted Jerome Verdier, he said, well, I will only give you your information that I got, so the information can help you do your investigation. And that's why they don't want to contact Jerome again. They just went with what they had to go with. He was responding to the fact that Koji, Teller, and others are no longer persons of interest in the case. So I was.
Yeah, you show. I mean, I don't know if you want us to bring him on now. You still have time, right?
Yes, I still have time. We
Okay.
will go to the phone lines, but I need to ask him if he listened to his name being called today, stating, because that was one of the premise they laid. Oh, we got to bring Jerome here. Let Jerome tell how he got the information. Blah blah blah. Today he went and stood on the stand. What did he say? When we contacted Jerome, Jerome said he just passed information to us. So we just look at it and we decided the three people.
Why
should
we
go.
calling Jerome Fagon? I just feel for President Weir though.
Why are you feeling for him?
It's good question, Fagon. Good question. I feel for the president.
It's his people. It's his people.
Fagon. The president can either be a president that the people admire and so love, or the president can ride and die with his group. He's not picking up. Maybe he'll call back. The president can either be a president, right, that Liberians went out and voted for. Liberians printed their own T-shirt, Fagon. You were part of that program. Liberians all over trusted President George Manneh Weah. But today, some elements, whether the president is okay with it or he knows exactly what's going on, or the president been deceived, somewhere in my heart, I feel for President George Manneh Weah. Somewhere in my heart, I just feel that.
Stanton, you can
I don't
feel
know.
for a person all you want, but if the person does not feel for themselves, it's useless. President Weah does not feel for himself. It's like yesterday when I sat on the panel with Bama Kamara. You give all this sweet thing, but you refuse to blame 12 for one misapplication. It's the same thing. We'll tell Mr. President, this is what you're doing. It is wrong. He will know it's wrong. And then Eugene Angbe, Samuel Twe will go to him, and guess what? He will follow their advice. Whose advice should he be following? The Attorney General or Koji's advice? You want to score political points, or you want to do legal justice to the people of Liberia? What? So I don't feel for him. It is his team. It's the people he trusts. It's the people he's willing to work with. And this is what he is giving us.
Fagon, yet is still. And I see a lot of my friend Otelo DeLon and everybody saying, what's wrong with you? Why you feel for the president? Fagon, yeah, you don't blame me. I'm begging you. But let me be realistic here.
You have two crew people.
Fagon.
That's why you're doing it, because both of you are crew.
It's not about it. Fagon. It's the fact remains is that sometimes you must have that godly feeling for the leader. He is the leader of the country. He is the leader of the country, Fagon. If you have some element around this president, telling him tabata, deceiving him over and over, then you feel for him. But let's bring in Jerome Verder is on the line. He said I should let you know. He's live, Fagon. Go ahead.
Jerome, welcome to Reliable Info 360.
Hold on 1 minute, because you're in my ear. I'm going to take you from my ear and put you live. So Fagon, 1 minute.
Okay.
All right, now, Fagon, can you go ahead? He will be able to hear you, Fagon.
My dear brother, Councilor Verdia, good morning. How are you?
I'm great, my brother. Thank God it's another good day. And it's good to hear you. And congratulations for your inaugural program.
Thank you very much. And I don't know how to say it, but on my inaugural program, guess who name I hear today from the police commissioner, Jerome Verdia. They've been singing your name ever since. And then today he said you were not willing to provide anything. In fact, you claim that the information you gathered is what you supply them with for them to work with. There was not anything substantial for them to use. Have you heard what happened today in Monrovia? And if so, how do you respond?
Well, I know, firstly, the criminal justice system is meant to serve justice for everybody. And you do not rush to court without evidence, without concluding investigation, And I would hasten to say that this is happening just when $1 million drug case was lost in the face of overwhelming evidence. That is another case, but it points to where the government's interests lie, to the point I believe we do not even have a government in Monrovia. Okay, Justice Scott was called in and they transformed her into action to an arrest. And her lawyers were pissed off. And so her lawyers decided that, look, this is nonsense. This is undue advantage and abuse of the judicial process, abuse of the criminal justice process. And so we will run to court. And I got a copy of the heavy couples that was filed. I look at it and say, well, I think they are in their right to do it. But from all indications, she will be released today. I wasn't surprised because of the nature of the Hebrew couples and the time that it was created. It is clear to those who are in authority in Monrovia that they made a wrong move, especially at a time like this when they should be preparing for elections. There are two things they try to do to distract the opposition, and to the credit of Morba Molu, this whole thing of Gloria Scott is a diversionary tactic, just to change things around. Instead of finding out who the perpetrators are, they decide to turn the crime around on the victims. So they're taking a victim to trial, and they will not get away with it. They cannot go anywhere with it. They have no evidence against Justice Scott. And where I in Justice Scott's mind, I will sue that government and bring them to account for the misdeeds and injustices against her. Yes, I'm aware of what transpired.
Let me ask you this. If you follow this case, today, the crime services investigator chief, Emmanuel Jlacan, said that there was no evidence of a break-in. However, he said that the occupants of the house, 3 of them, used the window to escape. An iron bar is set on the window. So if these people had the keys, why wouldn't they just pass through the back door or the front door? Why would they themselves use that time, break the window, and escape outside of the window? Now, you are a learned man. What do you think is wrong with that statement?
Well, as you just narrated, it created doubts. It created impossibilities in the mind of the reasonable person. The most that I saw and gathered from what happened at that house was on video. The neighbors had called the police and they got no feedback, no response until after 4 hours. That is time enough for an assailant to carry on his action and get away. Some people called me yesterday and asked, well, how did they get in? How did they get out? I said, the same way they got in is the same way they got out. For such an operation, the key perpetrator must have been assisted. And so with such assistance, you could have had any number of assistants, individuals, knowing the place, and we came up and said, look, these are the people. I made a public on spoon. That was the information I gathered. And the police called me. I don't know who is Jilikan, but I didn't speak to Jilikan. I spoke to a police authority. And when I was speaking to him, I noticed that I was being recorded. And I told him, I said, well, you're speaking to me, so it's not confidential anymore. It appears to be recorded, and you have others sitting in conversation, but you didn't tell me. And I told him, I said, what do you want from me? And if you remember in the spoon talk, I said that what we have in Monrovia is a criminal enterprise. I referred to the police director himself being involved in the killing of Mapi inmates, and I've investigated 5 other killings, which directly implicates the government and government agents, including ministers. So I said that if Monrovia was free enough and there was a justice system, I would have gone to Monrovia to prosecute this case. So I told the police chief, I said, what do you want from me? You want me to tell you who I spoke to or how I gathered information? I said, I have given you the leads in investigation. That's all you need. You need credible leads. And identify who, why, where the person is. Those are credible leads for you to follow. Don't ask me for any other information. If you're doing your investigation, you have enough, more than enough. Identify the perpetrator. Identify who he worked for. Identify his motive. Identify what happened when he left. On the same phone call, when we were about to kill Valitere or take him out of the country, I announced that he's been taken away. And then I called them and told them to change everything around. And he came and said,
Can I ask? Let me ask, Councillor. Let me ask you a question. This is Fagon Show, and I know you will be appearing on Spoon tonight. Am I correct?
By your invitation, sir.
Thank you very much. So, but let me
Hey,
ask
you know,
you.
he asked tricky question there now. That boy is too tricky. Too tricky. Hey,
No.
If I won't show the other one, if I won't show the last one,
Yeah.
so keep
some for tonight. Don't get on Fagon Show.
Look, you see the jealousy. You see the jealousy coming. You see the jealousy.
Oh man! But Councillor, let me ask you a question though. You know, people said that, well, Councillor Jerome is in America, he relaxed, he's comfortable, making these false allegations. And I will put a quotation mark to the word false allegation, Councillor. And they ask him, though you cannot release your sources information, but when you call the name Valitele, they took him to the Liberia National Police. You call some names. That is very, very important. And you said that they call you and they ask you questions. Councillor Verdier, my question to the Liberian people and to you as a councillor. The number one question I think a defense lawyer going to ask, like yourself, what is was there an intent? Why they believe that Gloria Scott killed her daughter? If they charge her for murder, why they think that she killed her daughter? Then, after yesterday to today, in less than 48 hours or 24 hours, they're releasing her. They're telling her to go home. What's the situation, Councillor? I want you to speak to President George Manawia. My last question to you. Over $100 million drugs case. It ended in a frank situation. The country, our international partners, they are so disappointed in the government. And today, the president government people, excluding Musa Din that said, you don't do this yet. And they went ahead and they did it. And now the former Chief Justice, former Justice Minister, former National Election Commissioner, former Senator, being disgraced, and now they say she should go home. Councillor, the state of our nation on this legal issue, begging you, address it as Liberians listen to you tonight.
Thank you, Mr. CEO. And in the first instance, this government has been a disgrace to our country from day one. I don't know why people are surprised, because I've never been impressed. I saw that entity during its creation, and I washed my hands. I said, this is fraud. This is crime. This is corruption. Because I spoke with them. I knew what the objective was, and I left. Mr. Weah came to office. The first thing he did by June of the following year, Liberia's foreign reserve account was depleted. And what did we see? We saw units, apartments growing up. Mr. Weah began to break down his properties. But that's just at the beginning. And everything progressed to where we are. Somebody asked me, I don't know who, and I was on one show, and I said, I don't know of one thing that Mr. Weah has done good for this country. The person said, oh, are you being biased? I said, what do you mean? I said, I'm not being biased. I'm telling you, I don't know of one thing good that this man has done for this country. He said, of all the man has done, you say he's done nothing good? I said, point out the one thing that he has done, and I will tell you why I say it's not good. And the journalist could not. Because everything has been self-interest. Everything has been criminally minded. Everything has been directed against perceived opponents and people who they think are not in their interest. That's not how you run government. Government has three branches. Police the world over. And our people have done some training. And I said it. There are some very intelligent and professional police people within the police. Since the current IG went there, they have been purging the police gradually, but still, there are still some important and professional people there, including the one who called me. And I told him, I said, sir, I respect you. That's why I'm talking to you. Otherwise, I will not even go any far to even talk with anybody at this police, because your IG has been found to be culpable in the murder of peaceful citizens who were doing their professional job. He said, oh, Councillor, but anyway, you mind. Since you respect me, I appreciate it. We went on. And I said, I noticed you are trying to record me. But it's no problem. Don't ask me anything. You want what evidence do you want from me? I should come and tell you who told me. Is that important to identify the perpetrator? Which is very important. You already know the perpetrator. You already know who sent the perpetrator. Have they examined during their press conference at City Hall, Montreal City Hall, when Valitere attempted to put his hands on the table, somebody was there dragging his hands back. And if you notice, Stanton, from the time of that incident, Valitere has been wearing long sleeves.
Definitely.
So he was hiding something on his hands. And then second, I'm just examining what they have put in the public. That's open source. And then at the police station, they asked him why he didn't go to his baby's naming ceremony. I know about Mandingo people and their naming ceremony. I was once married to a Mandingo woman. It's very, very important.
Yeah.
So he said, I said nothing woo-woo. Acid went in his eye, and that's why it was hurting. He didn't go. But your eye was okay when you planned the naming ceremony. And we all know when acid goes into somebody's eyes, what happened? The iris is turning around. Your eye is damaged. So when we have in Monrovia, it's a gangster's paradise. The government had a knee-jerk reaction based upon what the opposition was doing of late. Honorable Cummings went to, I think, Bond County, and he stirred the place. His Excellency, the former Vice President, has been going around from village to village. So they thought, let's do something dramatic that will either interrupt what the opposition is doing or shift the attention of the public from what they are doing to what we can do. And then Justice Scott was the prey. And then when I got
Okay.
What did they have against her?
Wow.
You should have brought it to court. Before you invite somebody or even perfect an arrest, you must have the fruits of your evidence, the fruits of the crime, the meat and the bones of the crime. You must have something while you violate somebody's right. Take them from the privacy.
But my last question to you, Councillor, my last question, I think Fagon read it first against time here, but my last question, Fagon, please permit me.
Your very last question.
why you think that we are not hearing from the justice minister himself? We heard that he's not in the country. Listen, a lot of stuff is happening, but why the justice minister himself is, I mean, he's quiet. And we know Justice Minister Musa Ding, you know him very well, but something about he's not speaking to the nation on this issue that is so concerning. You care to talk to us, please?
I will give you my impression. Firstly, you have somebody sitting down at the Moria City cohort who has is the commander of George Weah's militia army. He takes no instructions from anybody. He doesn't even respect the police director. He takes instructions from Mr. Weah, and Weah alone. When they were taking Valitele from Monrovia to go and execute him, it was Weah who called him and said, no, it's all out there. If you do anything, it's going to come right back to me. That's how he
Well, how do you know that Weah called him, though? How do you know that the president called someone and said, no, don't carry on an execution? You are giving this information like you are giving. Yeah, but I want Liberians to understand. You are giving like direct first-hand information. How do you know of these things that the president called somebody and said, no, do not carry out an execution? It's chilling, it's scary.
I believe it because I know Jefferson Koji listens to nobody else. And that's the only call that would have made him to turn around and bring Valitele back. And since Valitele came, Valitele has been under the detention more or less of Jefferson Koji. And I know you want to ask how I managed to know. I know that Valitele called 5 different Muslim senior persons in Monrovia and said he believed there was an attempt on his life, there was an attempt to kill him. And because he made that phone call, that's why Jefferson Koji didn't allow him to go back home.
Wow, Fagon, thank you.
Yes. You know.
Well, thank you, Counsel.
Thank you. But I just want to say, in terms of information gathering, I live in that country. I was born there. All my life was lived there. I went to school there. All my schooling years. Everything I am was given to me by Liberia. The only thing I did, when they threw me out of the country, they wanted to kill me. God said leave. And when I came, I got master's degree. That's the only education I got from abroad. But from kindergarten, from 3 years old to 5 years old, to 10, to 11, to 13, to 17, to 20, to 30 years old, all my schooling was in Liberia.
Keep going, don't stop. We want to know your age. Keep going.
Okay, I will tell you my age. It's public knowledge. You know, and then I did a TRC. Yeah, I did a TRC where I went to every nook and corner of that country. You think I don't have favor? You think God hasn't given me favor? And I didn't get sick one day during the TRC for 5 years. Interviewing more than 200 victims. Some of them I cried with them, I broke down with them. And I had hearings. Oh, I never got sick one day. It's the grace and favor of God. And that grace and that favor is still with me. I get information. People volunteer information. And because I'm a lawyer, I know how to protect sources. Why should the police come and tell me how I got the information? Or I tell you what it is. Go investigate. I'm sitting here, I can tell you that they didn't even query Jefferson Koji and Jefferson and Taylor and Valitele. It was nothing. It was just fun.
All right.
Inspect Valitele's body to see where he has scratches because there was a struggle.
Well, thank you, Councillor. And because of time, we're pressed. We're going to allow our people to make a contribution via phone.
We will see you on Spoon Talk tonight.
No.
Maybe you need more time. I mean, we have to join you in doing the payments. That would be good. Because your show is provocative and you yourself, you are a very talkative person. But thank you, gentlemen. I appreciate it very well. God bless.
Amen. Thank you very much. Well, Stanton, you heard him. And since Valitele became a person of interest and notoriety, I would like for our crew to try to find Valitele for an interview, because I'm told he's not in the public glare nowadays. He's somewhere on his own. But before we go to the phone lines, Diamond, if you're there, we would like for you to bring Article 21G, which is which has to do with the right to the writ of habeas corpus. And I'm going to talk to Stanton for a minute, and then we'll go to the phone lines. Article 21G states, and I'm reading, the right to the writ of habeas corpus being essential to the protection of human rights shall be guaranteed at all times, and any person arrested or detained and not presented to court within the period specified may in consequence exercise this right. Your yell, I will repeat it so you can know why that right to habeas corpus was granted today. It's a right. Article 21G. I told you on my program, I will not come to talk. We will provide the evidence. Article 21G states, the right to the writ of habeas corpus being essential to the protection of human rights shall be guaranteed at all times, and any person arrested or detained and not presented to court within the period specified may in consequence exercise this right. But why is it essential? It is essential to the protection of human rights. And in my summation to the Liberian people, if her rights was violated, her human rights, as the court has ruled, then it is fair to submit that due process in this case has been hijacked. Your thoughts, Stanton A. Witherspoon, former CEO, Media Monku, and the Liberian people best giftee. Talk to us.
Fago, I heard you. I was driving to the office trying to get on your program, Reliable Info 360. And I heard you making a comparison to President Donald Trump over here.
Yeah.
Fago, let's be fair. The one of the downsides to this, I believe that maybe the government have nothing to prove and they allow her to leave. But if the government had something to prove, Fagon, you'll get mad at me. Is there any special way to arrest, detain, and start the persecution of someone you're accusing? Though you said Donald Trump has special privilege, I just want to understand. Can you help me?
Yes. As said by the information minister today, and as enshrined in our laws, a person is presumed innocent until proven guilty. I repeat, a person is presumed innocent until proven guilty. Not just proven guilty, but proven guilty in a court of competent jurisdiction. That is why the law requires you to treat a person with respect and dignity. And even if the person is guilty, their human rights must be protected. You still cannot treat them anyhow. What am I talking about? You took her to the police station, 10 o'clock in the morning. You did not feed her. You did not feed her. You arrested her. You detained her. You removed her slippers from her feet and threw her in a cell. You humiliated her. You tortured her. So, it's not so much so about the Donald Trump issue. It's treating her as an innocent person until she's proven guilty. And even if she was proven guilty, you still have to let her wear her slippers. You're taking away from her dignity. But she is the former head of a separate branch of government. Don't you forget that. Donald Trump was charged with 37 counts. You and I had that conversation. In this case, the woman was not even charged. You should have let her come in peace. You should have treated her with dignity. Look at the American government. They say no handcuffs, right? No mugshot, right? They walk him into the courtroom. That's treating somebody with dignity, especially when they are presumed innocent. How did you treat this woman? Like a common criminal, as if she was a criminal already. You remove her slippers. You did not feed her. You humiliated her, and you torture her. Now, that's the thing you say, I feel for President Weah. Because if Fagon was there, and I beg you, give me 1 minute, let me tell you something very secretive, just 1 minute.
That your show. What are you begging me for?
But you think that who show? That your show?
They don't beg me.
Listen to this, so Stanton. When Charles Sirleaf was arrested, go back to the newspaper. You were Stephen standing right behind him. And you can call Charles Sirleaf. Charlie will tell you. The guys went and took out Charles Sirleaf glasses. Right now, I tell you, I can't see anything clear. They removed his glasses. They took out his slippers. When I got to the police station, I became furious. I demanded that nobody say anything until they gave his glasses. According to them, his glasses were at Central. Ask anybody about the story. They went to Central for his glasses. They brought his slippers. And guess what? I was one of those who held his hands and we walked down the stairs. A person is presumed innocent. Treat them with dignity. And what happened? The law found him not guilty. So you're going to bust an eyeball or hurt him?
So, Fagon, you understand that I respect the former justice minister. Are you going to preach that sermon for everyone that folks are going to take to the Liberia National Police that they will be charged?
Hell yeah.
Are you going to say they should treat them with dignity? They should give them food, give them water, keep the slipper on their feet?
That's what it should be.
That's what it should be, but it have not been that way for a very long time, and you have not spoken on it for a very long time. Though.
Thank you for giving me a show way back when you were 2 years old. They used to call you Ego Baby. That today my show start. So I'm
so that today you start talking. But when you were in so far gone, and that's what will make us so they will make this so interesting. When you were there, when you were part of them.
Yeah?
No, you were not bringing on the phone for us to do.
No. I'm bringing you by yourself again. I just explained to you what I did when I was minister. Then you will go, now I'll show you, I'll support you also. Dama, where are you? Come, let's go to our people. Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching the Realiable Info 360.
Dama, don't come here. You see the reason why.
Somebody say, bring Stato on so we can really have some fun.
Dama,
bring you on
Dama, the man said I'm doing witchcraft. Well, the man was part of the cabal. All right, he didn't preach this sermon.
Dama, take the man off the screen. Dama, put him off the screen. Put him in the back. Dama, what are our phone numbers? Can you bring them on the screen?
Oh Lord!
No, seriously, I did that. And that's some of the things I tell President Weah all the time. You came on the mantra of change. You cannot continue to do the same old thing. Look at what you're doing now. Now the fact that Jesus,
and that's why I say I'm sorry for the president. You're right. That's why I say sometimes I feel for President Weah, Fagon, because it's like sometimes you need to take control, Minister Fagon. Sometimes you need to put your foot down. People were waiting for this president to see that change. They were waiting for President George Manneh Weah to get out of his bubble, to have that authority that the government, the Constitution had given him, that he can perform. And the people will come back and say, yes. Now we know the president having that 360, we're going to support him. But again and again and again, the president cares less. The president nonchalant attitude. The president let he lay back and say, you do your thing and just pay me later. And that's what that's the frustration, Fagon. So when I say I feel for him, that's where I'm coming from, sir.
And I can say this to you though, when I look on this Constitution and I look at Article 21G, and they say the right of habeas corpus is essential to the protection of human rights. That's what it says correctly on the paper, Diamond. I'm thinking now, can these people pass the test of due process? Because now the court has just ruled. You have just violated this woman's human rights. And that's why it is essential for. And the court let her go. Can you now say you had due process? Let's go to the lines. Let's hear from our people. And we're restricting it strictly to the Gloria Scott case, what they've heard, the videos we have shown them, what is their contribution, Diamond?
Okay, we'll do just that. So we'll take the local calls and then we'll post the WhatsApp number for those watching from overseas to also call and contribute on Reliable Info 360. Hello?
Diamond, man, you are the best in the whole country. Anybody tell you any different? Let them come. We can hold a debate.
Hello?
Yes. Hello?
Yes, let's hear you out, please. Go ahead.
Yeah, my name is Moses H. Davo, and I call you from Bomi County.
You're welcome, Moses. To the issue, please.
Yeah, thank you. Yet I knew that this was just another frill illustration, 3D illustration. Oh, hello?
Yeah, you're still there. You have 30 seconds to go. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, I'm saying I knew this was just another frill illustration, 3D illustration by the Liberian National Police, and yet it's just a matter of charade. You know, that this is yet another allegation, you know, against the former justice minister. So we look up, I was looking up to the court for just another great work and they really performed today. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you as well. Let's take another person on the line. Mr. Falcon, how the line buzzing so? You got setting mojo, eh?
This is the best show in the country.
My man, don't do that, Dama. Dama, you don't do that. You come here on Spoon Talk
you're not coming
now.
by my show if you want me to
Protect me.
Yeah, go
Dama,
ahead,
tell
you
me
live.
why
Go
we
ahead.
get in
Mr. Falcon, we have a
2017.
caller on the line.
If I please protect me, please.
Go ahead, you protected. You
My
are
man, you on
protected.
here, are you begging to be protected?
Hey, leave my people, I'm a people, leave my people.
The first thing is I listen to Falcon. And Falcon is dangerous, misleading. But first thing is, if you read the Constitution is very emphatic and clear in issue of dispensing justice to the poor, right? If the police are levies allegation against a former senator, it does not mean that allegation have been proven or have been denied. The first thing we are expecting Falcon to prove that to us is to allow the court system to go, but for him to come prejudge the case is wrong. And it's not serious say you made
Get a different person. This is my show. Are we prejudging cases here? Give us different person on the line.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for expressing your opinion.
Hold the line, Dama. Hold the line, co-host. Hold the line, Anchorman. Hold the line, the best in the country.
The line has been held.
We are saying what happened today. And the thing has already happened. And the court has ruled the woman gone home. We read a thing from the Constitution. We put it up. Dama, honestly, the guy that was talking, those kind of poor, don't waste our time. Because they're eating the other poor time. Okay. We're not prejudging case here.
I was just for the fact that he was expressing his own level of understanding as to how he understood it to be, and you can come out and
prejudging
give
case.
the clarity.
Let me tell the woman
right,
go to
let me take this person.
Dama, you're here with her.
Hello.
Hello, Dama.
Let's hear you out, please.
Okay, my name is Alexander Kono, and I call you from Pinze.
Go ahead.
Diamond, I like Eugene as a present one. I like him as a big brother, and I like him to always be in our political space. But Diamond, I think it would be good for us to just leave this whole thing as it is until the court can go through it, because we all, Eugene Falcon down the door, he's now on the other side of the road. He's somebody who has always been wanting justice to take this in the technical case, and now that this government have put her feet down, I think we should give a plus to the government, and then all we should be asking the government to do that the right can be done, so that those who killed that girl, I'm after that girl life, so that those who killed that girl can be brought to book and facing justice. Instead of just pinpoint at one person or trying to have some on political gain because she's part of us or he's not part of us. But I think that we should let it be. And Fagon has a big brother since 2016. I started knowing him.
Okay.
But just the best coaches. Thank you.
Thank you as well. Thank you for calling. We'll take 3 more calls from Liberia, and then we can go to the international callers as well. Then you guys can do your closing based on the time that we have. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, sir. You live. Go ahead, please.
Don't give him 1 minute after this time, please.
Good evening. Good afternoon to Mr. Eugene Falcon, and good afternoon to you and our many listeners.
Go ahead, please.
The executive director of Make Labrador, great formula of the Martin Board of Justice.
What's the name of your group again? You say you're executive director of which group?
Yeah, executive director of Make Labrador great formula of the Martin Board of Justice. Damo, you know me. Quickly to the issue. First of all, I'm calling on Honorable Eugene Falcon, my own dear brother from Bombing County, to sincerely apologize. First of all, I want to congratulations for your show. This is my first debut call on the show, but I want you to apologize first to Liberian people and to my leader that you lied on before that he was in Ghana, which of course he was staying in America. Also posted it. So I want you to apologize.
But this has got nothing to do with the current issue under discussion. You want to apologize for Mr. Fagon? You just call him on his number or post it on his page and let him apologize to you for whatever.
Let's go on.
But we're talking different in chief. Y'all can do your apology thing later. Let me go to the international line. This is the WhatsApp number to call. Those of you watching, you can call via this WhatsApp number and we'll have you on the show as well. This is Reliable Info 360. This was meant to be a pilot, but the pilot intended to full flight, the entire flight.
I like that. You see what happened? Like I told you, if we hit the airways, the people will come. Just imagine day one. But look at the other guy. We are discussing what happened today. The court let the woman go on the basis of habeas corpus. We are saying where the police went wrong, what the police said. We play video, everything. You said we prejudging the case. The other man said I should apologize to his political leader because who they say Allah. But yes, Tinton right here. 1 hour later, the man was in Ghana, they meant to a picture. He showed it. This is Reliable Info 360. When we give you information, go double check it.
Fagon, I know you, and listen, I beg you, and I beg your dynamic producer, Damon, you're here going to hear the line.
We have a caller. Wait.
Hey, Damon.
Wait. I'll show you. I'll put you outside.
Damon said, let me jam the guy. I want to jam Fagon, man.
Inke calling from Ghana. Good afternoon, everyone. Uncle Eugene, thank you so much for the show. This is beautiful. And you are making a lot of facts here. First of all, I am a sister to Gloria Scott, the last born, father last born.
Oh, wow.
I live with her 7 years old up to 25 years old. Matter of fact, that woman does not even know how to kill mosquito. For them to accuse her of what they are saying today. So I just called to just participate in this show.
Okay.
Yeah, so I just want to say thank you. I just want to say
let me ask you a question. Have you spoken to the farmers? Can we ask her a question, Dama, please?
Yeah, just hold on a minute, please. The question is, former CEO, go ahead.
I beg you, Fagon. We just need to know whether she has spoken to the former Chief Justice.
To her big sister. To her big sister.
Have you spoken to your big sister from yesterday, today?
So when was the last time you did? Have you spoken to her since yesterday?
Day before yesterday, I spoke to her before yesterday, which was Monday.
Okay. Since
before
then.
Yes.
All right.
Since then, I've not get back to her yet, but I've spoke to some people in the family.
All right, ma'am.
So wrong. This woman does not know how to kill mosquito, and I stay with her all my life. Strange people stay with us. This girl in question that died, she's our cousin. She's not her sis, she's not her daughter, she's not her sister, but her cousin. She's our first cousin, and this woman reared her when she was small.
All right.
So Liberian people should not stay where they don't know.
All right, ma'am. Thank you. We have to leave it at that and take other callers. Thank you for your contribution.
Keep her number. Keep her number. She's a family.
Okay. Let me take another person on the line. Hello.
The line hot.
Yeah, the line had my phone might even burst because they
I mean, you got my change, yo. If I got, Dama, you got my change, yo. Don't forget.
Dama don't have any change for you right now. You on my show.
Yeah, go ahead. You live on the show.
Thank you so much. I want to say good morning to Butuma in studio and also Stanton. I just like to say this. We have found a case, and what we can say to those who are involved in this case, the lives of Dorothy Cody and all of them, their days are numbered. And we will come for them. That they does not belong to them. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Straight to the point there. No wasting time. Let's take another person here on the line. We've got 5 minutes to go, so we can still take calls at least to 3 minutes. And then the host and hijacking guests can do their closing.
Oh,
let's take this person. Hello.
Yeah, hello.
Let's hear you out, please. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to give the information to Fagon that the police spokesman.
Hello.
Minutes ago that. Hello.
Yeah, you live. Go ahead, please. Yeah, just go ahead, please.
Yeah, I said I want to give you the information. The police spokesman Moses Carter were on air that the woman will be re-arrested before the weekend or early next week because they are charging. He's talking with the prosecutor in Maserado so they can re-arrest the woman here because they put up 3 charges against her. So I just want to give you that information.
Thank you. Thank you for the information. Mr. Fagon, that's all the time. Minister Fagon, that's all the time we have to take calls. We will definitely structure the show properly that we'll have ample time to take enough calls on the show. So
definitely. So let's go to Stanton. I want to make sure I'm on time. Yeah. Stanton, you got 1 minute to close.
Man, what you giving me a minute for, man? We can push this thing.
You said when the show goes above 1 minute, we should charge him extra.
I'm not even wasting time. He got 45 more seconds to talk.
But Fagon, listen to the last quarter, right? Moses Carter saying that they will re-arrest the world. Listen, President George Mano, we are supposed to go alone, like he always does, in the bathroom, sit on the toilet, postpone talk on, take a pen and paper, and everyone name we're going to mention, he read those names down and dismissed them immediately. Moses Carter need to go. I know the brother. I do. I used to talk to him. But to come out again and say, will we arrest her? You have brought disgrace to the president and the government. And you still talking? Come on, man. Come on. Fagon, it is painful. I know today is the first day of your program. I will be willing to come on whenever you invite me.
I'm not calling you back. The people saying they like to see you here, but me, I don't like to see you here.
But this is scary, Fagon.
Yeah,
going to election, man. You want to satisfy your people. You want to energize your base. You don't want this tabata to be hanging over you. Oh, $140 million worth of drugs, the president, and they didn't do anything. Oh, my people. Then the citizen gets scared. Then independent, silent voter gets scared. Now you went back and collected Gloria Scott. And the way you treated her. And Musa didn't put his 2 hands up and say, I told them not to do it. They didn't listen to me. And when you start going back and start talking about Matthew Innes, you go back and talk about Bati Yenswa, Gifty Lama, Abba Peter, and you start naming people, connecting them to Shalom, Musu. Then you sit down and say, should I give this government another 6 years? What will happen if we give them another 6 years? My brother Fagon, I will pray to God in heaven. The little time President George Mano we have, I think he need to call another cabinet meeting and say nobody speak. If anybody say anything, it should come from me and me alone to balance the scale at least and convince the little sedition he have left.
Okay, Stanton.
Or else, I will rest on this, brother. Oh, it's 1 o'clock already. Or else, I think this person is looking at a first round defeat. If he doesn't do what we advise him to do, this thing will be on the first round. It will be finished. If I'm going to say thank you, I say thank you for the great program, and I wish you well. I wish you well, and I say the Liberian people will enjoy your show moving forward. Thank you very much, Diamond. It's good that I'm here, and it's always good if you invite me. I will say no at some point, but we look forward to the spoon talk tonight.
You finish saying no already. You finish saying you're not coming by. You can't hear the point and just saying, if I'm going to bring you on, we can enjoy it. Why not bringing you on? But anyways, put the jokes aside. Folks, thank you for joining us. Diamond joke, but it was a serious joke. Me and Diamond planned to come here and do 30 minutes. It became so sweet. When we look at you guys in your thousands, we could not abandon you on the live feed. We look at you guys, almost 3 million people listening to us right now. We could not just leave. We will make the show better, we promise. And when we come here, we will give you reliable information as we did. You heard from the police commissioner. You heard from the lawyer of the government. We put on the screen Article 21F. We put on the screen Article 21G. We do not come here to give you our opinions, but we will not shy away from them. What we discussed here today are reliable information, and we went totally around the reliable information, and that's why we call our show Reliable Info 360. Thanks for joining me on behalf of my co-host and anchorman in studio, the best in the country, until we can find someone to match his excellence and eloquence. I say thank you, Honorable Diamond M. Slanger. It's a debate I'm willing to hold, and I will always hold. I look forward to seeing you, my friend. We're about to rock the nation. Let's do it for the people. Thank you very much for hosting me.
Thank you as well. You're welcome. So
Thank you,
folks,
Diamond.
that's all the time we have for the pilot edition of Reliable Info 360. Will come your way again on Monday when we have sorted everything out to give you the best presentation we can offer to you. All right, that's all the time we have. Have for yourselves a wonderful time, and bye-bye.